Hey everyone, it's Cassius Methyl of Tryptamine Astrology. So I have a special report for you today about something I only recently realized even existed in astrology. It's the planet Quaoar, right there at 26 degrees Sagittarius. See, Quaoar is a dwarf planet that is one of the, as they call, Plutinos, Pluto-sized dwarf planets out around the distance, from the sun that Pluto is at. It's a recently discovered planet that seems to have extreme implications. I logically and carefully analyze anything in astrology, any asteroid, planet, anything, to really determine that it actually does things and that it's not, fake, really. You have to determine whether something in astrology is real by logically analyzing it and seeing if the truth of it holds up with multiple analysis. So, I'm still understanding what Quaoar does, but if I'm correct, it is a potent kind of higher power. I've come to see that, you know how Pluto operates. Pluto is one of the strongest, most potent planets in astrology, and it's tiny. So, Quaoar and Eris, these dwarf planets out there, they do have effects. We all know how strong Chiron is. Chiron is smaller than any of these, and it has a tremendously noticeable effect. So, there's something happening that could explain the the higher power that people have been feeling seep into their lives lately. KRS channel, a Vedic astrologer you may know, he made a few videos about ascension and this higher power hitting Earth with the eclipses. Now, I don't know if it's really the eclipses that are doing this, but I have an alternative theory for why these strange things may be happening, why people may be feeling this foreign energy creep into them, why they might have kundalini awakenings. I don't believe in anything that is not proven, and this is proven. So, I have a theory developing now that Quaoar right here, conjoining the galactic center at 27 degrees Sagittarius, that may be the reason why, this is happening. When Quaoar fully conjoins the galactic center, we will know, if this is why, because we'll see it peak. Anyway, that's very interesting to me, so I thought I'd mention that. But, I'm also going to talk about a few other long-term planetary transits that are coming in. Eris, Uranus conjunct Eris. This is happening next year, and it's barely starting to happen this year. Eris is supposed to be a revolutionary fire, a piercing revolutionary fire like no other. And I've demonstrated in people's charts so far that it seems to be just that, a kind of drive fire and revolutionary fire that is pretty much unrivaled. It's the largest known dwarf planet. It's pretty strong. It's conjunct my south node, so I can feel the energy within me, and I've seen it in other people with suns conjunct Eris. I've seen Eris conjoin and transit people's suns, which appears to cause empowerment and revolution, transformation like Pluto, but on a longer scale. So we'll see in the next year what Uranus does conjoining Eris. Uranus, the revolutionary planet, conjoining the largest dwarf planet. There are going to be some very powerful things happening in the next year, in the next 6 months. Okay, but this is the short-term thing. This is going to happen August 3rd. This month to August 3rd. So, Jupiter is going to make its every decade square to Saturn. It's going to make that square. It's going to peak on August 3rd, right? So there are some very strange, fateful anomalies happening with this. As we felt today, Today is the 7th of July. Last night I felt the Pluto opposition, the sun's opposition to Pluto really kick in. That's an annual piercing kind of tense angle where it really brings out the dark side of Pluto. But I distinctly felt the Saturn-Pluto semisquare get activated last night, when the energy from the sun opposite Pluto kicked in. So like I said in the other videos, any time of this 3 months where Pluto is semisquaring Saturn, any time that another planet agitates this semisquare right here, it brings out the Saturn-Pluto energy. And the Saturn-Pluto energy is one of the darkest sets of energies that I know in astrology, aside from Chiron and a few other things, even though Chiron is not inherently malefic. So this is extremely important. The angle happening that peaks August 3rd, the every decade Jupiter square to Saturn, that angle is agitating the Saturn-Pluto semisquare, a very dark angle that has been known to cause geopolitical explosive events. The drug war was founded on a conjunction of Pluto and Saturn. 9/11 occurred on an exact opposition of Pluto and Saturn in Gemini and Sagittarius. So, this is, I don't really know what's going to happen. I highly recommend that you research Jupiter square Saturn and understand what it means, and also equate the energy of Pluto and Saturn into the equation. The energy of Pluto and Saturn goes like this. It's contradictory. Saturn wants to limit, show boundaries, ground, teach hard lessons, and Saturn has some real darkness, even though it's not inherently dark. Now, Pluto, is an intense transformation, fire. We recently discovered it's red like Mars with the new NASA photos. It has a very Martian piercing energy. So Pluto semisquaring Mars is fiery, explosive, dark, limiting, and contradictory. It's limits combining with fire, the opposite of limits, transformation. So it's an explosive, contradictory set of angles, and I've noticed any time of the month now that something agitates this angle, it floods darkness into, the collective consciousness. It's distinctly dark, and I don't mean to be alarmist or negative or anything, but I think you should prepare for it. So, drawing closer to August 3rd, we're going to see an increase of the influence of Jupiter, expanding this Saturn-Pluto darkness. Who knows, maybe Jupiter will even add some positivity to it, because Jupiter is inherently positive, and it's known to do that. So, let's wait and see what happens, but as August 3rd draws near, we will see the Pluto-Saturn semisquare intensify in effects, and on the longer term scale of things, I'm very curious to see what the Quaoar Galactic Center conjunction will do, and I'm very curious to see what the Eris-Uranus conjunction is going to do in the next year. So, I hope that was useful, and I hope it was very interesting. Share this with as many people as possible, and I hope this was useful. Oh, and this is a horoscope for July 15th. This is not today. So, much love, peace, stay awake, much love.